if you've seen Man of Steel, this is a scene of controversy amongst fans and viewers alike, all right? And I don't seem to understand it because this is a scene that is, what the argument is always, oh, this is not Superman. That's not what Superman would have done. He would have ran. He would have done it. He would have moved. And I'm like, you keep not understanding the importance of what Kevin Costner's Pa Kent was trying to convey to Clark. And that is a pivotal moment because they basically gave Superman a great power comes great responsibility moment, but without it being so obvious. But also seeing the consequences of if you do that. And they were like, there's so many other ways to have handled it. I remember somebody said they could have given him the heart attack or natural diseases that Superman couldn't cure and make him feel powerless to that. And I was like, that's just not as much of an emotional, I don't know, reaction or strike. I don't know. It doesn't elicit as much as that scene did because there were several times you had to see the difficulty of raising a child on Earth through, and an alien child at that, through the lens of a human parent, right? And him trying to convey a point and the alien child not understanding that. That kind of conflict, I just feel like was what the scene was trying to convey. You can't beat that. You can't, I don't think, oh man, like, which is interesting because even if you wanted the same type of stories like you've heard before, it's happened already with Spider-Man. They did it with Spider-Man the first time with Sam Raimi's and did it again with Mark Webb. And then when that happened, people complained and said, it's the same story. I need something new. I need a reiteration. And now you get a reiteration or a new story by Zack Snyder, and you complain because it's not the way that you wanted the story to be. Like, let's really think this through. Everything in that scene was explained, especially after the school bus scene had happened and he had to save all of his classmates, and there were witnesses. And because there were witnesses, government officials and people started coming around the house, reporters, and people were wondering, how did the school bus get saved? What's going on? Is there something freaky going on in Smallville? There were questions. And his dad was like, you see what I'm talking about? If you keep playing around like this, they're going to come around, they're going to take you away. Human beings are not kind to aliens or things that are more powerful than them or things they don't understand. He was trying to convey that point to Clark. Now, carry on, move forward. When Superman does now establish himself as a hero and shows up as a hero into the real world, into the adult world, and everybody sees him, when they start doing research and, and Lewis starts to do some like journalism here and there, trying to figure out who Superman would be if he was on Earth and where his origin story would come from. Guess what? She follows the story. So do his enemies. Everybody follows the stories of every single miracle case that Clark had done since he was a child, all the way from Smallville to his days as a wanderer to now, right? And guess what? Every single one of those situations that his dad told him to lay low came up, which is what made the importance of that scene so important. Because if his dad hadn't stopped it at the point that he stopped it, it would probably, Clark would not have made it to adulthood without being, I don't know, sanctioned and caught and locked up in a facility or something. Like, it's just, you could literally see why the scene was important. It was, don't do any miracle things in front of these people because these people are not going to shut up about it, and your alienness will be revealed and you will be locked away. It's just simple. And those are the real world consequences. And I know people are going to be like, oh my God, it's a comic book movie. Why do you want a real world? Guys, let's be for real for a second. The real world premise is fun. I enjoy it, but sometimes I feel like it loses people and people have to argue senseless things, even though sometimes, even in a comic book world, that still makes sense. Because this is the same thing that happened with Batman and the gliding scene in the Batman with Robert Pattinson's version. Batman was on year 2. They said that several times in the description. He even like basically sort of hints at the fact that he's new to being Batman, and somehow people were like, why can't my Batman fly? I don't even know why I'm having this conversation, but I love how visceral people get about this scene. So it makes me even want to hamp down more about how good this scene is. Because there are many arguable moments in comic book movie history that I love that people still want to argue. Like, for example, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. I love the dynamic between him and Kilowog. No one can take that away from me. I don't care what you guys say about the movie. Jonah Hex with Megan Fox and Josh Brolin. I love Josh Brolin as Jonah Hex. Megan Fox was a little awkward in there, but I love that movie.